Happy Manliness Monday, YouTube. Today, I'd like to talk about something that actually happened to me yesterday, about showing gratitude and how you should treat your customers. Yesterday, my car broke down in Sheetz. Brand new car. I've been having trouble with it all day. Paid $7,000 for it. Well, it's actually the wife's car. I'm going to get into the specifics at a later date because it's still an ongoing thing with the dealership. Long story short, there was a problem with the ignition switch that whenever the steering wheel moved, the car would shut off. I was doing my best to limp the car home and I needed gas. Filled the tank up and I had to jimmy the steering wheel around a little bit. A lot more than you ever should have to jimmy something. Just shake it around and try the key and maybe cuss a little bit. Finally got it to work. My father, a few hours earlier, said his biggest fear with this thing was that while we were driving, either one of us, that it could just shut off. And his worst fears were confirmed. That is an awful situation. Luckily, we hadn't gotten out of the Sheetz parking lot yet, and we were stuck there. So the wife got in the driver's seat and some strangers came over and helped me push it into a parking space. And we went inside to discuss our options. We called my parents because we were closer to my parents than home or her parents. I went inside to get a coffee and to talk to the supervisor or the manager, or whoever was in charge that night. I was distraught. I had had enough with this car. Spent the day already fighting with the dealership over the phone, and this was my last straw. So I went and got to get a coffee, stood in line. It was actually the supervisor who was checking people out that evening. And he looked up at me, and I guess my face said 1,000 words. Gave me the coffee for free, and I asked to speak with him when he was finished with the rest of his customers because there was a line. He said, "No problem, I'll be there as soon as I can." So already I'm grateful to this guy. He did, it's $1.50. It's not that big a deal. At that moment, to me, that was a huge kindness. That's the first thing that you need to hit on. Anytime you can do something small or something stupid to make your customers happy, do it. Seriously, don't even think about it. What did that really cost Sheetz at the end of the day? Not $1.50, but that little gesture made the world to me, meant the world to me at that moment. And I'm extremely grateful for it. I'm not sponsored by Sheetz in any way, by the way. Though, if someone at corporate sees this and wants to share the story, or wants to send me a sponsorship idea, by all means. This guy already made a really terrible night a lot better. I'm not driving this car. It's not safe to drive. He finished with his customers, came over to me, and I said, "Listen, brand new car just broke down. It's something with the ignition switch. It shuts off while we're driving it. Can we leave it here? I'll be back for it in the morning." He looked at me, looked at my wife, looked at me square in the eye and said, "No problem. Leave it here as long as you need. I'd rather you guys stay safe." Now, from a business perspective, I'm taking up a spot. It is an inconvenience, and if I was there a week, that really could cost Sheetz an amount of money. We got it out of there the next morning. However, the fact that the supervisor was more concerned with me staying safe than me getting out of there as quickly as possible is exactly what you should do. Sheetz gained, I always go to Sheetz anyways. There's one in Clark Summit, there's one in Dunmore, they're all over where I live. It's a gas station, by the way, if you're not from here. Whenever I have a chance, I do go to Sheetz just because, they're big, they're convenient. They're like a convenience store and a gas station. It's nice. I'm always gonna go to Sheetz because this guy helped me out. The amount that it could have cost Sheetz with that free coffee was just a small coffee, and letting me keep the car there overnight or as long as I needed to is going to be well repaid over the course of my lifetime, or however long the corporation stays in, just for my purchases. And that's something that a lot of people don't understand. It's small kindnesses, it's small gestures like that that build brand loyalty. From a man, that's from a business perspective. From a manliness perspective, you need to be able to do that all the time as a man. Small gestures could mean the world to somebody and earn you their loyalty that you don't even realize at that point. And you should always be looking for those opportunities to help somebody out. You should always be looking for those opportunities. Now, this brand has completely earned my loyalty now. They were just convenient. Now I'm loyal. You get several chances like this a day with every interaction that you're in, every person you meet. And if you make yourself not only convenient, but you do these gestures, people will become loyal to you. And over your lifetime, you will reap the benefits of these connections, of these loyalties. Whether right now I'm in the middle of moving my house. I have friends and family that are loyal and have already volunteered their time to help me move, to help pack up and get me out of here and get me squared away. If I were to pay a moving company to do that, it'd be hundreds, if not a couple $1,000s. I have people helping me out all the time. The lady who I did that last frame for, the Moana frame, clicky thing up here, gave me an art set because she noticed I was struggling along with meager supplies and she wanted to help me out and repay something because I volunteered my time. I didn't ask for any money. And not only did I get all these views out of you guys, which is cool, but she gave me something to help further me along. That's the kind of man you want to be. You want to be the kind of guy who everyone is always willing to help. And you don't get there. You don't get that way by being selfish, by being an asshole, by always being too busy to do a favor. Take the 5 minutes and do the favor. Take $2 out and hand it to somebody who's struggling. And here's the thing, even if you never see that person again, whoever else saw that interaction now has thinks of you better. This needs to become a habit. This should be something that's second nature. It's just always done, never thought about. This is just who you are. You are the guy that helps people out. You are that awesome, great guy. And this week, I want you to try that. Don't just passively go through your day. With every interaction, I want you to think, what can I do for this other person? How can I help them? What small concession can I make to them? It might be something as simple as offering somebody a cigarette or a stick of gum, holding the door for somebody, saying good morning, or asking someone how their day is that you don't normally talk to, sending a text message to somebody that you haven't talked to in a few months, or that might be going through something difficult. It costs you almost nothing. Sometimes the returns are amazing. You won't realize it for a year, maybe, but always be that guy that reaches out. Always be that guy that helps people out, even if it's a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I release new content every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Manliness Mondays, Philosophy Wednesdays, and Project Video Fridays to the best of my ability. This is something that I've always done my best to do, and I've never really thought about talking about this because it's always just been something that I've done. For me, it's an automatic reflex. Hold the door, help somebody out, give somebody a hand up, give someone $5 here or do a favor for somebody there. It's just something that I've been taught since I was a kid, and it's second nature to me. That a lot of people don't realize the cost benefit of it. And it took the other night to really slap that into me, that there is a cost benefit to this. I really wanted to talk about my experience with Sheetz and with that manager, because to me that was very meaningful, that was very impactful, and it cost him what? A coffee and a parking space. But to me that meant everything. It's just this car thing really threw me for a loop, and this guy wasn't a friend, he was a complete stranger, which just made the interaction that much more stark to me. So it was something I wanted to talk about. I figured, he helped me out, so maybe this will help him out, or, the Sheetz brand out a little bit, saying, that these guys really are kind of awesome. They really did help me out a lot. So I'd like to repay his kind favor with one of my own. And this is kind of the point of this whole video, is a reciprocity of good things. And talking about reciprocity of good things, guys, if you have $1 a month to spare, or more, more is always better for me, I do have a Patreon. If you do like the things I talk about, if you like the Manliness Mondays, if you find them useful, if you find my philosophy videos insightful, if you find my project videos interesting, that you can go over and support me with. And I use that money exclusively to get new tools, to get new equipment, and to try new and better things, to bring you guys something interesting to watch, something that you can learn from. And there are, perks to being a Patreon member. I do this lens thing where I give you insights on, how my day is going, or, previews on stuff I'm doing in the shop, just behind the scenes thoughts. Sometimes I put polls or ask your opinions over there. So if you guys can, and this is no pressure, please support me over there. I would really appreciate it, and would really help me make this world better. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And remember, guys, no man is an island unto himself. I'll see you next week.